you're at a law firm or you're an in-house counsel. If you're a student, point that out as well. You can say, I'm a student and I want to have this kind of a career. I want to start my own practice at some point in time, however it is for you. Okay, so we are live and I'm going to start the broadcast.
Okay.
So hi everybody, welcome to our session on how to convert or transform your law practice into a law firm. We have with us Kunal Madan from KMA Law Offices, and Kunal is somebody who is very senior and experienced in this, and I have been seeing some of his work earlier and interacted with him. I've seen an earlier video of his on YouTube where he has explained about how to convert your law practice into a law firm, about looking at the business side of your practice, some of the things that we don't get to look at every day, and we're going to keep on framing this discussion a lot more as we start speaking with Kunal. So I'm not going to give a lot of pre-background, but just let's understand this, that if you've ever wanted to build your own law firm, then this session is going to have a lot of unique insights for you on how to go about doing that. If you've got a practice, you want to grow it further, and you face bottlenecks in terms of too many breakdowns, juniors make mistakes, I can't hire juniors, I don't know what to do. Their clients are always asking me for more and more deliverables. I'm unable to charge them high prices. If these are the questions that bother you, then it is time to look at how to at the business side of things about your law practice, and Kunal has worked on it in a lot of depth, and we've invited him to share his insights on this. Okay, so over to you, Kunal. It'd be great if you can share a little bit about how and when you started, and what's your practice and your firm like, what's KML offices like at the current moment, and then we can dive into the content of the session.
Absolutely. So thank you, Abhyuday, for calling me to this platform, LawSikho. It's one of the most prestigious platform for the lawyers over here. And
thank you for accepting my invite, Kunal.
And thank you for inviting me here. So a little background about myself. I am into practice since over 13 years now. And I started my own law practice within 10 months of getting the registration. And it was something which happened as a coincidence for me. But yes, slowly and gradually, I converted into a law firm, and I went to a lot of business seminars. I worked a lot on myself and how to build a law firm, and how to build a law firm in such a process and a systematic manner where most of the law firms are not operating from. And my vision and mission in life is to create a McDonald's of legal industry. So I'm also authoring an upcoming book, which is Run Your Company, Not Your Case,
Run Your Company, Not Your Case, which for a lawyer is more like run your law firm and don't just run one case of yours.
So yes, it would help a lot of young lawyers and lot of business owners as well who want to automate their law practice.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it. So before starting this session, I would like all the participants to just be with me and just participate with me in this webinar. So this is going to be a more interactive session rather than session only speaking about myself, me, and how to do it and how not to do it. So I would like more interactive session with the participants over here. So first of all, I would like you all to share that as an individual, as in to an individual practice, what are problems you are facing right now?
Kunal, you may need to be a little louder. Yeah.
Just hold on.
There is some noise also on the mic, so just see.
So am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I would first like all the participants to share their problem. That what as an individual lawyer, what are the issues which they are facing as an individual lawyers? Okay. Please write in the chat box. So, okay, client generation. I'm going to address the client generation. Building up the client since advertisement is not allowed. Okay, I'm going to address this issue. Lack of practical experience. I would also address this issue. Client needs me to be there for every work. Delegation to junior. Yes, I'm going to address this issue at length. At length. And guys, I want to make a promise to you. After this webinar, you would have tool with you to set up one of the most systematic and process-driven law firm in the entire company, in the entire India. So this is my promise to you.
Kunal,
After
can
this
you increase
webinar,
the volume?
oh, I'm so sorry again.
Can you use the inbuilt mic of your laptop?
Just hold.
Just go on the settings and change the mic. Maybe it might work better.
So am I audible now?
This is better.
Okay, this is better. Thank you. So I want to make a promise to you that after this webinar, you would have a tool to set up your law firm, which would be a system driven, process driven, and it would be better than any law firm at present in this country. So I want to make a promise to you at this point of time, but please be there and interact with me. Okay. Any more issues with you right now in your individual practice? Handling pressure from the clients and time deliveries, yes. Money expectation, okay. I'm going to address this issue. How to balance the fee charge to clients and market standards. Okay, so I am just going to start this webinar with the context of why. So all the big companies in the world who are actually delivering the systematic and process driven and delivering the product जो customer के हिसाब से होते हैं. You know what is the difference between them? The difference between one company and other company is एक Y से operate करता है and other company operate from how. Like the difference between Apple and the Microsoft is Apple operates from Y. वो पहले ये सोचता है कि मुझे ये product बनाना क्यों है. Then how पे काम होता है. So अभी one question I would like you all to answer here is, why do you want to build a law firm? Why? Please write in the chat box. Why do you want to build a law firm?
And I also have a question on this, Kunal, that how different can the why be? Maybe people have a similar why when they are actually writing the answers. I mean, you can't, there are specific things a lawyer does for his or her clients. Now, you can't reinvent the why beyond a point, right? So is the question about creating a why, or, feeling a connection to your why and focusing on that versus just looking at the how, which is what tends to happen for a lot of us. We get into kaise karna hai, but we are not like, okay, this is the reason we are here, and let's keep focusing on improving from this vision that we have.
Okay.
Okay, let's see now. People have given some answers also.
Okay.
So you've got money, give complete service to client for better marketing so that it enables them to charge better, build up better. This is not a why, this is basically why you want to build a firm. Yeah. So for better marketing enables them to charge better plus build a better and diverse team.
So all these answers can be answered in this webinar. अभी why strong होना क्यों जरूरी है और why होना क्यों जरूरी है, पहले मैं इस चीज पे आता हूँ.
Is everyone comfortable with Hindi? If somebody is not, let us know.
Okay. So I would
just know. So till then, it's fine. I mean,
I would just like to share a small story. In 2007, India lost a World Cup, and Indian team was down and out, and Dravid stepped out of the captaincy. There was issue with the coaches. There was issue within the team. And the captaincy of the team India was given to Dhoni. And there was new coach appointed for Team India, that was Greg Chappell. What they did is they brought all the team members to one place, one resort, and they asked every team member that why do you want to win the World Cup, next World Cup? Why do you want to win? So somebody said, we want to win the World Cup because of money. Somebody said, we want to win this World Cup because of 130 crore people in India. Somebody said, ki, I am very patriotic, so I would like to win this for my country. So, Greg Chappell said, this is all boring answers. These are not strong why. If you don't have a strong why, you are not going to achieve what you want to achieve. So your why should be that strong that that it should lighten up your eyes, and your why your why and your goals. Your why and your goals should be inclusive goals. It should have a purpose to serve at least 10x number of people you are serving right now. So the vision of building a firm, building a team, building a law firm should not consist of you and you only. So if you have a larger goal, if you have a larger why, you are most likely to succeed. So therefore, I would just like you to analyze, stop, take a minute, just analyze why do you want to build a law firm, and how many number of people you want to serve, how many number of lawyers are you going to engage, how many number of lives you want to touch and improve. So the moment you have this stronger why, this stronger goal, your goals become larger than you, and it would automatically drive you down there. It would automatic. And look, if you want to build a law firm, if you want to bring a legal practice to a law firm, scale up to that level. You can't do it alone. This is for sure. So we have one question. How many clients?
No, I'm writing down your question, the questions you've been asking, so that people can see it there.
Yes. So have a clarity of your numbers, of your vision, of your why. Then we can always sort out how to do it. That's I'm already, of course, going to address this in this webinar. But at least you should have a clarity on your goal, on your vision of number of clients, number of team members, and of course, it would then practically would be upgrading your scale of practice. Now let's just come to how you can build a law firm. So building up a law firm is you have to create a team, and you have to create a team which should have a win-win model. What is a win-win model? A win-win model means you have to create a situation along with your team, along with your clients, that they all should be happy and they all should have a win-win situation for themselves. You should have a team goal, you should have a team vision. आपका जो win-win वाली situation है, your win-win situation is going to change the game for your entire team, for your entire clients. How? That I'm just going to address.
So what is a win-win situation? How are normal client interactions of lawyers? What are the ways in which they may not be win-win?
Okay, so let's start from your internal team. So I'll just share one background. In 1990s, all the employees were only concerned about their survival. That was the era of survival in 1990s. In 2000, it was an era of packages. How much money do you earn for luxuries? Now, after 2010, that trend has again changed. Now it is an era of exposure and money both. So as far as your team is concerned, they should have a exposure, number one, exposure of new matters, exposure to handle the matter on their own. And the second, they should have enough money from which they can lead their luxurious life or the life they want to live. So win-win model, as far as your team is concerned, there are two things. I'm repeating, there are two things. One is exposure. The other is the money. So if your team has an exposure and if your team has a money which they want, I think this is a one win-win situation for your team. This is one step towards forming your law firm. Then the second aspect is win-win for your customer. One, okay, can you please write on the chat box, what is your client expectation from you? What is your client expectation from you? What
The
your
moon, everyone will say it's the moon.
yes,
Client expects everything at the cheapest
I
cost.
want a specific answer. There's some specific reasons I have just asked this question.
So anybody, can you in the audience, can you precisely simplify what you think, or can you objectively state what a client expects from you?
Yes, results, quality
Very,
work,
very
less
good.
reliability, solve their problem, the charges less fees. Absolutely. So earlier in this chat box, somebody said, my clients want me. I can't function without me myself.
Yeah.
Look, so client doesn't want you. Client want results, number one. Client wants value for money. Write this down somewhere. Client wants value for money. Value for money. Client want results. Client want value for money. They don't want any of your face value. They don't want you in person. If you assure them, if you assure them the quality of the service, the timely delivery, and the results. So, and of course, the fee you charge them, they should feel that yes, if I'm paying 1x, I'm getting 10x back. So if you can deliver that 10x at X price, I think your practice is going to flourish. There is no question about it. There is no question about it. There is no question about it. So client would have a win-win when he has a value for money and when he's been delivered result. Your team would have a win-win when your teams are getting exposure they want and getting the money they want. And you would have a win-win because your practice grows. If your clients are happy, if your team is happy, your practice grows. So there is a 4-step model for how to really how to delegate and how to get your team into the competent stage and commitment and a committed stage that we are going to discuss later in this webinar. So
So I want to know which part
yes.
are we going to look at how to get clients, because that's a separate long session in itself,
So
right?
I
So
just,
what part will you look at right now so that we can help in setting the expectations clearly that, look, if you all are earning this much and you have a few clients, now it's the time to look at making a law firm? Or are we saying how to get your first client? We're not addressing that, right? Are
we are not addressing how to get the first line. We are not addressing.
okay? And anything about getting clients we are addressing, or are we addressing the part of serving clients?
We would address that in very short in a very short term,
Okay.
probably for 5-10 minutes. We would be discussing. First I would like to tell the audience that how they can create a win-win situation and how they can really automate. So look, now you've understood the win-win model as far as legal practice is concerned. That it should be win-win for your team, it should be win-win for your client, it should be win-win for you, because your practice is going to scale up. Then the how your practice is going to scale up, number one, then if your team is committed and competent, they are able to handle 90% of your matters. They are going to take a load 90% of themselves. That's how they are going to have an exposure.
For most people, this is unimaginable. Okay, team handling 9%. Oh my God, what are you talking about?
So in my
everybody who resonates with this, 1 second, sorry Kunal, just everybody who resonates with this, please share here in the chat box that yes, this is what I face. If you think that what I'm saying is outrageous, you've already got your team in place, they're doing well, say that. Okay, so that we know that, you know, which part, what we are connecting with. Yeah, so Nanshri Goyal is saying that she faces that challenge. So
Yes.
there was somebody who said, I have 7 people in my team already. I think you don't face this challenge to a great extent. But anybody who's not got a junior or who's got 1 or 2 juniors might be facing this challenge. Got it. Okay, so Kunal, let's proceed.
Okay. So now we are coming to the how part of it. Okay, how you can make your team committed and competent. So just
there are some steps. Sorry to interrupt. Okay, but there are two things they need to understand before they are willing to even try this out.
yes,
Which is this: that if I have a junior, I gotta pay my junior. Okay, and
yes,
that person may make mistakes in their initial phases.
yes,
So where you're saying that my client wants me to be there all the time because I do all his work. Okay, that's one side of the story. The second part is that you are saying to make a
yes,
law firm, boss, spend more, get a junior, pay the junior, and you can do better with that because the junior will be able to do more of your work and you will be able to uh, have a bigger practice, a
so
better practice, more satisfied clients by not having another you,
thank you for
but by
asking
having a
this
junior.
question.
Sorry.
Yes, thank you for asking this question. Thank you so much for asking this.
Because you've
So
asked them to
yes,
spend more
so
and they're
this is a
not getting another them.
absolutely. So this is a four-step model. So what I do in my practice, I'll just share that. So this is a four-step model.
Hmm.
The first step model is I do UC. This is first step. Probably this steps take around 2 months time. I do UC. Then the second step is we both do it together. This takes another 2 months time. And the third step is you do IC. And the fourth step is you do nobody sees. So I'm repeating this fourth step. I do UC. We both do it together. And then you do IC. And the fourth step is you do nobody sees. So normally to aspire the confidence of the client, you first have to empower your team member and introduce your team member with the client, saying that he's an associate, he's a part of my team, he is working with me, and he's working with me with so much of time. There is a set procedure guidelines which he follows, which I follows, and you have to train that guy. You know, you have to really train that guy, give him time, and don't be a perfectionist. Don't be, perfection to me is myth. Look, if I draft something, if I show it to any senior advocate, he would change something. If that senior goes to another senior advocate and he sees that draft, he would change something. So perfection, you can't get a perfection out of somebody. So perfection is a myth. Yes, if he is able to deliver you with the 90% or the 80% of what you are, then be happy with it. So that you have to spend 80% of the less time as if you were doing that matter yourself. So am I clear? Am I
So
audible?
one of the things that you introduced, and I think this is new for a lot of people, is to bring your associate to the forefront without worrying about any
Yes.
chances or possibility of one losing your client or
Hmm.
being judged for the fact that you
So
want to be alone in front
it's
of
a
him.
step
No.
by step. It's a step.
Yeah.
Look, Avinder, it's a step by step model. The
Yeah.
first step is you have to train your associate to that level. Look,
But I can have an associate sit in the meeting, even if he's not very well trained, as long as grooming and all of that is proper. I don't need to fear
absolutely.
this fact that I need to not introduce my associate to the client. That's not a very good idea because later on I'll have to have my associate on the matter. And a lot of the client concerns, which I may forget to communicate, the places where the client is coming from, that my associate can still pick up without having enough technical skills. Even then, that person may be able to pick it up. So I think that's a very important idea that you dropped in here.
Yes. So it's a step by step model, right? You need to train your team to a level which they you look. Why does just let's have a survey. Why your team members leave you? Just tell me one. Can I have some answers from our participants over here? Why does your team member leave you? They can leave you for two things. They can leave you for two things. Either they're not getting exposure or they're not getting paid enough, which they think they should get. So majorly, 80% of the guys would say that I was not getting exposure there, I was not getting paid over there as much as I wanted to. So look, to
Bad
bring him to
treatment
that
also.
level, you need to train him. It's a win-win situation, right? So if you've given a training to your associate to even deal with your client, to be how to be in court, to see you first 2-3 months, and then you can do it together. You can have a client meeting together, you can argue the matter together, you can do cross examination together, wherein you would be supporting your associate, where you would be and giving him the confidence, yes, you can also do it, look, we have done it together. And then when your associate is grown up to a level that he can do it, you just see him do it. And wherever you think that there is some backstep, you can immediately step in over there. So it's a 4-step model. So you need to train your team to that extent that they should able to replace you at least in 80 to 90% of your matters.
How long does it take? Let's say you've got 2 associates in your team. How long does it take to train them to that level?
So 6 to 8 months minimum.
Okay. And in terms of the kind of time, so assume that people have got the system that you're talking about. So how much time does it enable them to save? You're saying 80 to 90% of the regular work is basically handled by them in 6 to 8 months.
Yes.
And what kind of earning can that associate have? Like, what do you recommend a senior to pay so that the associates don't leave?
Yes. So look, I work on as far as my model is concerned.
Yeah, you can even explain
Yes,
that. Yeah.
yes. Of course. With starting, if some freshers come to me with no experience, I pay 10 to 12K per month. And as soon as he is 6 months old, he is able to handle a matter which 80% or 90% of the matters. So I pay him around 20,000 in a year's time, plus whatever clients he handle. I announce for bonus for 1 to 2% to him. Look, this is the client you are handling. The entire follow-up would be yours. The entire client dealing would be yours. Involve me when there is some technicality or when something is not, whenever you want any advice. So this is a model I follow. So even the juniors are happy. Even they are getting exposure. They are being paid. Even juniors are happy. Even I am happy because client also aspires the confident. Clients also sees the associates along with me in first 1 to 2 hearings or 3 hearings. So I see you do, and we both do it together. So I follow this model. In my office. So the client aspires the confidence in the juniors as well. Yes, they are the guys. They can do it.
So
Yeah.
then the client will not insist that, for everything that they need you personally.
Yes. And there is one more system. Look, for your team to raise their competency, everything you do, from the time your clients enter your office and from your clients, end up having their matter won. So from day 1 to the last day of the client, everything, every set of procedure, how you think should be jot down in a flowchart, and that flowchart can then be converted into a monitoring system, which is called FMS. And in that FMS, you have to clearly define each process, what is to be done, how it is to be done, who will do it, and when it will be done. So once you have that FMS, and once you have the how kind of thing defined in your FMS, I think 90% of your stress is going to go away.
So you might need to explain an FMS a little bit more, maybe with a couple of examples.
Okay. So can I share my screen?
Yeah, please.
If you don't mind. Okay.
I'll just allow you to share screen. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just sharing my screen. So
what does an FMS look like? They will see.
okay. So FMS, look, this is a flow chart. The first thing you have to do is
Can we zoom it in presentation mode or something? Or you could just increase the view so we can read also.
I'll just share my FMS.
Okay, great.
This flow chart, this is this flow chart look like. Look, This is a start, and then you can obviously make your processes step-by-step process of your office, how you deal with them. Look, let's suppose this is my FMS. I'll just share my FMS. So this is my flowchart. I start with a new client meeting, then I give a target date, then I give a fact procurement to one of my associate, then he drafts the matter, then it is being rechecked by a senior associate, then it goes for a client approval, then it obviously goes for a filing or the postage. Look here, it is clearly defined what is to be done, who will do it, how it will be done, when it will be done. Look, this is small matters. uh, First meeting was done by me, then I marked it to someone else, one of my associate, Ritika or Parika or Babu or Manu. Then the fact procurement has been done or not, drafting has been done or not, rechecking has been done or not, uh, the client approval has been obtained or not. Then it obviously goes for filing or rechecking. So this is a model which I follow. This would ensure that you are not leaving a single stone unturned in your office to deliver what the client expects from you and when the clients expect from you. So you have to clearly define what is to be done, by whom it is to be done, how it will be done, and by when it will be done. So this is going to raise the competency and the commitment of your team members.
So this flowchart management system,
Yes.
this is one flowchart out of many, or how do you
This is
bucket
one
these?
flowchart. This is one flowchart out of many.
So how many do you have? Like how many tasks at this, or how many processes or broader tasks you've identified at this stage?
So I have process for everything. So I have my operation manual designed in my office. Even if you call to my office and even if you talk to one of my EAs, she knows what to speak, how to speak, when to speak. There is a complete manual guidelines given to her, and I am even taught her how to react to a client, how not to react to a client, and what information in what manner it is to be given to a client. And even my filing sections do have a process being made, how it is to be filed, when it is to be filed, and what are the checklist which he has to follow. So even the postage section in my office is also very defined, process driven, and each process of the postage is also very defined. uh, so every process in my office is based on a flowchart monitoring sheet. So nothing which is this is just a one
So how
sample.
big is the team in your office, and what can we say? Can we say there are like 20 processes, 30 processes to
So
manage 20 people office? How does somebody look at it?
so look, I would give you one very practical example which I have
Yeah.
given it to many of my friends. When you go to court, you see a presiding officer.
Right.
What is the job of the presiding officer? His only job over there is to involve in important things and the decision making, right? And rest everything is systemized and process driven. Though that process may not be very systematic, but even no system is also a system. Even if you are not following a system, that is also a system.
Yeah, but if you don't have a system, you need a highly competent person to be able to decide what needs to be done and then delegate it to a team.
Yes, delegated to the team into a systematic manner,
Yeah.
And process, so that even a normal uh, uh, your EA or any of your clerk can manage it.
Right.
Any of your clerk can even manage it. So you don't even have to have engaged a team of 20 paralegal staff or 10 paralegal staff to manage these kind of systems. This can be even done by your one receptionist guy or one EA or one your if you have one extra clerk or one extra intern as well who is full time into it. So you can even do that in that fashion as well.
Okay. So have you made, so what you explained was for the litigation side of things.
Yes,
So the corporate work has a different flowchart, different process.
absolutely. Look, every lawyer who is attending this session may have a different thinking,
Yeah.
have a different processes, may have a different mindset altogether, and may have something innovative even better than me. So obviously, I would invite every participant over here to make their flowchart and to make that into a monitoring sheet so that they can deliver what is to be done, how it is to be done. To they can add value to their clients.
So the first step is basically from the client meeting, first client meeting till the end, to make a
Till the end
process
of
for
the
that,
time.
for different kinds of matters that you get or that you want to get. The
Yes,
matters that you want to take and you haven't served somebody on already, it might be a little difficult to identify what all to do. But for any matter you have successfully delivered to a client more than once, you can actually identify the steps and put them in. Now, the one bit thing to
so
watch out for, which, yeah,
it would make your team. It would make your team highly committed and competent. They would be answerable for each thing.
yeah,
And you can also define the timelines,
yeah,
2 days, 3 days, so that it would make sure that the work is delivered to client at the promised date and at the promised time. So you don't
yeah.
put deadlines, you don't even carry on कि जी परसों matter आ रहा है, we are having a matter day after tomorrow, and nothing is prepared right now.
Yeah. So basically, you're saying that between the task of meeting the client to delivering the work, by breaking it down into steps, you are
Step.
able to create ownership for the team that works for
Yes,
specific steps with
yes,
deadlines.
yes,
So you can actually, so the work actually gets done in an organized way, and you can also give realistic timelines to the
yes,
client. And since you give it beforehand, because you've already got your process mapped out, clients are more in a better position to appreciate. And if a client comes and says, "I need this tomorrow," then you know what part of how your process needs to adjust, or whether your process can even accommodate it in the first place or not. So then you know that you can tell the client that I cannot do this tomorrow, I need minimum 7 days, or if you need me to do this, then I have to stop all my 5 other pieces of work that I am doing, and therefore then you need to pay me a charge that is necessary for my urgent work, and which might be 3x or 4x of what I regularly charge, or 2x, I don't know.
yes,
Right?
yes, yes,
Got it.
yes.
Okay, so somebody has asked about whether you would be willing to share a couple of formats, and another person has asked about a filing system. How do you manage it? Are
So
there others who want to know about the filing system here, or is it specific to one person?
so
Yeah,
I would be so sorry that this is a system of my office. I can showcase this, but I can't share this. It has
yeah,
a relevant data of my client. What kind of matter have they filed? What kind of matter have not they filed?
correct.
And it is we have put in a lot of efforts while making
Mm.
these sheets. I would be so sorry. I would not be able to share it. But yes, we can obviously. You can contact LawSikho and we can have another webinar if you can make that flowchart. We can, I can just have a look at it and give you my reviews. You can even make better than this. You can even make better than this.
So the thing is that the elements are this: map out the different steps, identify who's going to do it
Yes.
and by when it's going to be done. And for every new person who walks into your door, or any new client, you need to duplicate that sheet. Also, I think what Kunal shared with me in one of the calls when we were planning this session was that your systems will never be perfect. So you may find them to break
Yes.
from time to time.
So this,
But
so
yeah,
guys, this would be version 1 of your flowchart monitoring sheet. Obviously, when you work on it, and you would be facing certain challenges. Oh, this thing we have missed. This thing we have missed. We need to add this thing. We need to add this thing. Our client is facing this problem even after this. You can just take the feedbacks from the client. You can take feedbacks of your team. Look, another thing. Look how I made this system and how I made this flowchart. I would just take a minute to share it. When I attended one of the business seminars, and this, of course, flowchart monitoring sheet was introduced over there for the business owners. So I thought, why not to implement it in a legal system? And I would do better than any business owner while making it. So how I did it, I took my team to a retreat it was good 4 5 years back. I took my team to retreat in Rishikesh. So I made them had a good fun in Rishikesh, river rafting and all that. So when they were completing all these tours and retreat, so I told them that yes, यार बहुत आप लोगों ने you had a great fun. Now build a system. This is very important for our office, and I shared with why. I shared with why, and I made them have their goals in their life. So firstly, I made them their goals in their life. What do you expect from your life? What are your financial goals? What kind of exposure do you want? And where do you see our firm 5 years from now? And all those who were there with me on that retreat, they have all achieved their goal within 1 year.
But a lot of these conversations fall flat, like I think people say that this is tried and tested manipulation, that take your team out for a retreat and then ask them to
So,
put their goals, and then they're all forgotten after the weekend.
so I made sure I shared my why, and I make sure I have their goals in their mindset, and I told them, if you want to achieve your goals, we need to have a system. We need to have a system. We need to have a processes in place so that we are able to deliver value for money to clients. And I shared them the win-win-win technology. I said it would be a win-win for you, it would be a win-win-win for the clients, and it would be a win-win-win for us as a team. So I shared that with my team. Openly, I shared with my team. And they made this flowchart. It was not me who made it. They are the one who made it. And they are the one who implemented. Look, if you make this flowchart, and if you make them to work on this flowchart, this is, I have made it, you have to work it. There is no why. There is no goal. Why would they work
This is one of the biggest challenges that is there in implementation, that if you felt that you have been doing everything in your practice and it all comes down to you, and if you go with that approach to making a flowchart, then again you will be left implementing your own flowchart, insisting and demanding people that follow the flowchart, but they will not have that ownership.
Absolutely. So there is one secret formula which I would like to share here, which I have not shared before in any of the platform. You can just write it down. People don't destroy what they create. People don't destroy what they create. So let them create it. You don't create it. Let them create it.
All right. So Nainshri and Rohit have pointed out that there are some questions they have, but which ones? Would you please type your questions? Okay. I can't see your question though. So which are the questions you all need addressed? You all understood, they said that they've understood the importance of having a system and how they can start with one.
Yes.
Okay, which is great. Okay, guys, that's amazing.
Yes.
And thank you for that. Now, which are the other issues that you want addressed at this moment?
Okay. After making this system and after making this flowchart monitoring sheet, and you know your why now, you know your visions now, you know your goals now, you know how important it is to have your team goals and team visions now, and how important this is to have a win-win-win situation created in your office if you want to build a successful law firm. So the next step is how to do it. Now you have to work very, very hard in defining the how of your legal systems and your legal practice. You have to write everything on the paper how you think in one particular situation. I like to give you one example. Like, just think that there is somebody, you are a domestic violence expert. You are an expert, legal expert in domestic violence, and a client is sitting just in front of you. So, what kind of questions do you ask? What kind of system is there in your mind? What kind of things you?
How do they think? How do they ask the questions to know more about the client?
Yes. So you have to just make a step-by-step checklist of those things on the paper.
Which means they need to have had enough exposure with clients on that specific point at least. So I take up any one issue on which you've served clients successfully. And then try to document your thought process.
Yes. Even if, let's suppose, even if you don't have that much exposure in that particular field, you can just read law, you can just read few judgments, you can just sit in that particular court, domestic violence court, for a couple of days, and you would come to know what kind of challenges do clients face in those particular things. So you need to have a checklist of all those things, all those kind of matters do you do. Let's suppose you are a bankruptcy expert. You need to have a checklist of the bankruptcy law, section 7, section 9, operation mismanagement, how on each particular situation, how do you think. You have to just write it down on that paper in a step-by-step manner, so that even if your team goes through that checklist, they should be able to draft the petition, they should be able to draft a reply, they should be able to have a conversation with the client and resolve their issues without you being present over there.
Okay, so Nainshri has a couple of questions,
Yes,
and then we'll
please.
move on to Kilan's questions also.
Yes.
How do you go about expanding your client base? And the second part of her question is, how do you go about building the team?
So
and Sridhar has a question which is a procedural one. We can address it immediately or later on how to on the registration part of your firm, whether it should be LLP, partnership, or sole proprietorship. I've answered it in chat, but I think they want you to answer also once.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to address the first question. Can you repeat the first question, Abhinay?
Yeah. How do you go about clients expansion? How do you go about building your team? These are the two. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll answer the first question. Look, you should have your data in front of you, that how many new people have you met in last 6 months or 1 year, and how many of those were your prospects, and how many of those out of those prospects were converted into your client. So you need to have a data. So
but let's assume they didn't have for the past. Now how do they start for now?
So you can start from now.
Okay.
You can start from now. You can just recall the memory at least for last 3 months, or last 4 months, last 5 months, last 6 months. You should know your conversion ratio. What is your conversion ratio? And to expand your client base, you need to be more visible. Look, there is one formula which we often talk about in BNI. It's a business networking platform. Is visibility plus credibility is equal to profitability. So you need to be more visible in more number of people.
So let's say this is lockdown, and what we encourage our students in our various courses to do is to write on LinkedIn about what they are learning, make a video of something,
Yes.
put up on YouTube, or do Zoom sessions, just sensitizing let's say business owners on an issue they may be facing. Okay.
Yes.
So that's one of the ways we suggest in which they can build visibility further.
Absolutely correct. So this is even I do. This is not law students. Even I do. I do sessions for my clients. I address. So
correct.
This is just increasing your visibility and increasing your credibility. So be more visible in more number of people. So this is one. And once the lockdown open, so my advice to all the participants over here is to join a networking platform, or to join a platform, business networking platform, or any social platform as well. Let's suppose you are joining FICCI, you are joining PhD, you are joining BNI, you are joining Rotary, so you are joining some clubs. So do join, make yourself visible to more number of people. So that's
you can join any startup community also.
You can join TIE.
Yeah, you can mentor at, let's say, the startup leadership program. You can mentor as a lawyer over there. You can take sessions for incubators. And it's possible to take in virtual environment. You can take that over Zoom now, and you can measure this. The format I suggest, I'd just like to take a couple of minutes to share, is that one is one to many, okay, where you use it on LinkedIn, videos. This is like a broadcast, and you're not advertising, okay, you're educating and sensitizing your audience, and they have a way to reach out to you because you drop your email address. So that one to many converts into a one-to-one, where they reach out to you, where some of the people who like what you are posting reach out to you for something specific. which may or may not be pertinent to your area, but that will be a one-to-one conversation which starts. That one-to-one conversation has to be translated into a call, and then you need to identify by asking the right questions, which Kunal was saying, that you need to ask certain questions so that the client gives you the facts and you understand better what the facts are, and then you give a proposal, and then you can say that, this is how we can start engaging. So by then, a lot of lawyers have this challenge that everything I have to give for free. So by then, because you broadcasted what you knew, you've already shared enough knowledge for free, and people have understood that you understand how to take their matter forward. So they are more willing to trust you if you share a proposal with them at that stage. Now you want to measure the numbers of this. How many people, how many videos did you ship? How many posts did you put out? How many people reached out to you, and how many one-on-ones did you have? Out of that, how many were you able to convert? So that literally needs to go in an Excel sheet on a month-to-month, week-to-week, and day-to-day basis. And if you work on increasing those numbers, you will start getting more mandates. That's the broadest level of looking at it.
Absolutely. Every organization who are not able to advertise work on this model. So work on this model. This is a very right approach, and I think you would be able to generate more.
Sorry, we couldn't hear you. I think there's an internet issue.
Okay.
Yeah, can
So
you just repeat? Yeah.
Yeah. This is a very right model which he has just shared. And even I have worked for this model. I've got good number of clients out of working with this model. So you need to be more visible. You need to be more credible. If you follow these two things, and if you are visible in more number of people, you are going to get more number of clients. There is no question on that. There is no question, no second thought on that.
Okay, so let's take some questions quickly.
Yes.
A person has asked, one issue that he or she has been facing is that clients don't pay the balance within the time frame. How to tackle this, although I've imposed a late payment interest?
So probably how I do is that I take certain portion of my retainership fee that's being paid in advance, and I do it on a per hearing basis. So look, even if you get 90% out of it, 90% of those client which are willing to pay you in advance a certain sum of handsome sum of money, work for them, and leave those 10% who are just, who are not willing to pay you as much and who are defaulters in nature, refer them to your competitors. So that's what I would suggest.
I mean, more than referring to competitors, you can say that, you can look out for other people in the market. And also the intention, a lot of the clients will want to return back to you, and they will know that when I come back to this person, he'll first say, okay, my whole bill was due. So they will.
And second thing, look, 95% of your clients, जिनको आपने value for money दी है, for whom you have delivered value for money, they are going to pay you no matter what. Even if they leave you, they'll come back to you. That I'm very, very sure. Even I'm talking about the majority, that is 95% of the clients.
Right. Aditi Halan is saying, my experience has been that warm introductions convert into clients, and how do you get cold introductions to convert? Any tips? So she's answered it according to me. You have to make the cold introduction warm. That's the deal.
Okay.
But Kunal, you can share your insights. Yeah.
How to get cold introduction to convert? Okay. So
a happy client refers to you, somebody. Okay, and now this new guy or this new entity is.
I'll just answer this question.
Yeah,
this is very interesting. This is very interesting. Yeah. I'll just answer this question.
Yeah.
So if somebody is having a cold introduction, you be clear in yourself that you don't want this cold introduction. You want something which you can internally get connected to the other person as a human being.
Yeah.
Once you take genuine interest without just dropping your parameters for a moment, and you take genuine interest in his life, and you deliver some kind of value, be it maybe just a listening to him, or it may be as small as giving him a small tips, or just giving him one compliment which he's looking for or she is looking for. You have to make sure that that conversation doesn't go cold. that conversation should relate you as one of the finest human beings he or she has ever met, and that person would remember you for his life, and you are going to convert it. And the second step is that you should have a process. You should have a process and a system in place by which you build your recall value in his mind. Look, I have a broadcast list of at least 5,000 people on my WhatsApp, and I deliver, and I make sure I deliver not good mornings and good nights, all those stuff. That's a stuff which you should not share. I deliver कि उनकी लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ वैल्यू ऐड करते रहूं every 10 to 15 days, be it a meditation process, be it a book, a summary of the book which I have just read, which is able to deliver some kind of value in his life. So I make sure that I have a recall value for each person I have met. So that's how you can just convert a cold introduction to a very good relationship, and it would hopefully get converted in future.
So there are various approaches to this, Kunal, but yeah, you could transcend into different spaces from a purely professional one. But even if you stick to a professional space, it is possible to warm up the relationship by really asking questions about what people are doing, what their business objectives are, how do they handle X, how do they handle Y, and then get into some of the more business related challenges. And even that gets deeper because you're not sticking to the fact
So
that
I
this is the
would
matter and this
so
is the solution. Yeah.
so yes, this is one kind of approach which I don't personally follow. Look, if if some salesman give you a call, or if you meet a kind of a person who even keep on boasting about himself, the human connect, the value
Yeah.
connect, the internal connect sometimes goes missing. So I take a farm. There are two kind of approaches. One is a farmer approach. The other is a hunter approach. The farmer approach is that you farm, you build on that relation, you work on that relation, you give water to that relation.
Correct.
Look. This is a farmer's approach, and the other approach is hunter. सामने आया काटो, and you just pitch in कि इतना pitch in कर दो that you should either buy or die. So these are two kind of approaches. My approach is a farmer kind of approach. I never get people to I want people to come to me and say कि यार please do my work. I don't want me to pitch to them कि नहीं यार मैं आपका काम करता हूँ. So I build that kind of relation. I take relationship to that level.
The relationship has to be deep enough where the client says that, can you help me out with this? It's like as simple as that.
Yes.
Okay, so two questions. A lot of people have asked about the discount question and how to tackle it. Any views on that?
There is nothing wrong in giving discounts to client. That's what I feel, and I will even give discounts to client. But if you don't want to give discounts to client, make your relationship with money clearer. Look, if your relationship with money is clear enough, this is my fee, and I would not be able to charge you less than that. Very humbly, with the folded hand, just say to client that this is not my policy. We don't work this way. We deliver value. You ask for the highest standard of work, we would be able to deliver it. But if you ask for a discount, sorry, this is not our policy. As simple as that. And you don't have to work for everybody. You have to work for the 80 or 90% of clients who are good paymaster. Or probably 60% of the client or the 50% of the client who are good paymaster. Rather than working for peanuts, work for those clients who are able to give justice to your work.
And I think it's important to identify how to deliver superior value. So it's not about the time spent alone on the work, but some things are valuable to clients of a particular industry or who want a certain outcome, and other things that lawyers may do and spend a lot of time on may not be so valuable. So you have to sort of juggle that so that you are focusing most of your time on the high value stuff. Like a lot of clients don't put value on formatting. Like it should be a formatted document, it should get admitted in court, or it should look presentable, but it may not require a overkill on it. Let's just call it that. Instead, you could focus on what will deliver higher value to the client. Maybe another business objective, maybe better communication.
Yes.
So that one will need
I
to.
completely agree with you. I
Yeah.
completely agree with you on this. I completely agree. Completely agree.
Got it.
So
So now which question to take? So question of YouTube videos read as advertising, and another one on should you do that at the risk of losing the client. So Aditi, there are two risks here. Okay, there is a risk of losing the client, which people get triggered with because of their feeling of rejection or not being good enough. And the question about relationship with money is that when people question you, you get angry that that he is questioning my self-worth. And the other is people have a lot of baggage about, do I deserve this money, how can I earn this money?
yes.
So all of that basically makes it a bit messy for people to interact when clients are talking about a discount. And I think that the more you work on this relationship at a psychological level, your understanding and triggers with respect to money, it helps in being able to deal with these questions more easily. And the problem is that you will have to encounter these again and again and again and again, because you'll deal with this with one client and then another one will again ask you the same thing. So you have to be ready to handle it again and again, which means that if some prior work needs to be done, then let's just do that and get sorted with it. Okay. And yes, you will need to do it when you are clear that what you're saying has enough value. Then you may need to do it at the cost of losing a client, so that you have only those clients who understand your value proposition and whose needs you can serve best. Now obviously, if that means you end up with zero clients, then it means that you need to do some work on the value you're providing. Okay. So have that much versatility. Okay, welcome kit. Bijal, definitely you should have a welcome kit for new clients with correspondence, email, maybe have a survey form, or a communication on timelines and whom to contact if you face trouble. Because if you're in a hearing and a client calls you and is angry, you will not be able to take that call. So you should have a welcome kit
So
explaining. Kunal will say more.
absolutely. So how I do is whenever I have first interaction with client and when he pays me the advance check, so at that moment I introduce him to two people from my team. One is an associate who would be handling this matter, and another is my executive assistant. So even if one person is in court, and we form a WhatsApp group, so a client can post all of his query on that WhatsApp group, and each one of us is answerable on that WhatsApp group. And mostly it has been answered by my associate. If she's not available, my EAs pick the call, and my EA, my executive assistant, she handles the query of the client in the absence of the associate on my absence. So this is what we do it in this kind of fashion, in this kind of process. So you can replicate this process in your office as well.
Yeah, and many lawyers and law firms are doing a lot of webinars now post lockdown, and some of the firms have been doing this earlier also. Like
Yes.
Nishit Desai Associates has very good videos, knowledge sharing going on. Trilegal has some great videos too. So it's not advertising; they are educating their potential clientele in a long term sense. They are educating them, so that's not a problem at all. You can do this.
So what is advertising? What is advertising? I would just like to give a definition of advertising. Advertisement means a proposal you send to somebody which invites him to buy your product. So in your videos, in your value videos, we deliver just one kind of advice we give to client. We don't say that please contact us for this much money, we will be giving you this advice, or we'll be handling this matter for this money, please come to us. So these kind of videos, of course, can be treated as an advertisement, but this kind of videos, I haven't seen any of these kind of videos being shared by any of the lawyers or our fraternity friends.
Correct.
So you can make the value videos, we say value videos, which deliver some kind of value to the clients, which deliver some kind of value without you pitching for work.
Got it. So one more question Hari Prashant has asked, that how do you charge for consultation calls, and do you charge for physical meetings? How do you go about it?
Okay.
So you can mention that. Yeah.
So look, my first session, my first consultation session for all my clients is free of cost. This is just my introduction, and this is just my goodwill building measures which I take. And from second meeting onwards, I charge my client for the consultation.
Correct. And you might have clients, so your billing process might be that I charge for drafts, I charge for filing, I charge for hearing, and I charge for
Take that.
costs.
Have your
But
relationship with money very clear.
yeah, no,
Your
why?
first
Yeah. Sorry, what I was saying was,
introduction session may be free, or maybe it may your first session, your first consultation session, you may keep it out for free, or as a goodwill building measure, as your marketing measure. You can do it as a marketing strategy, but have your relationship with your money clear enough to build
correct.
it from the very second thing you do.
See,
So
the
this is
first
my
minute,
advice.
until you are so busy that you have enough matters and you have no time to take any new matters, your first meeting is usually the discovery meeting, which you will look at closing so that you can give a client a roadmap and onboard the client and close the client and get your advance. Okay. So first meeting of a finite amount can be free. But if from then onwards, what happens is if you're just charging for court filing, court drafts, hearings, and contracts, there will be clients who take a lot of your personal time on calls, or they insist on 2 or 3 times the number of meetings that is necessary. So there, a lot of lawyers get upset that the client is being too demanding and is not paying me enough. There, the only thing you need to do is you can charge for your time for those things. That's it.
So one thing to add on this is that if any of your client is taking too much of your personal time, then you need to build your team competent enough so that they are able to handle their questions and answers. And you need to build even your paralegal staff to that level, so that the follow-up things, ji mera kaam hua nahi hua, has this work been done or not, has my filing been done or not, what is my next date of hearing, what is to be done on my next date of hearing, they can answer those sort of questions by your associates or by your EA. You have to build a process for that. You have to build a process. So there is something needs to be checked right here, right now. If something is bothering too much and something is taking too much of your time.
Correct. Okay, so we are going to close this discussion. Just one last question. Most people have been sharing feedback and saying that this is very helpful. One person has asked for inputs, a few inputs on the filing system. I think others also have questions on that. So you don't need to like share the format, but how do you run it? They want some insights. Maybe if in a couple of minutes you could share insights, and then we could close the session.
So again, we have a flowchart. And
Okay.
again, we have a system, we have a flowchart, we have a flowchart monitoring sheet, and it's been run by our clerk, and he takes care of the step-by-step process and step-by-step filing guidelines we have adhered to. We have made a process for that. So just make a process. Go for it. Don't look in for.
But do you have like clerks court-wise, forum-wise? Do you have them on your rolls? Do you share what
So
they
I
do?
have look, what we do is that our clerk make the complete file ready, and if someone like suppose one of our associate is going to Karkaduma, one of our associate is going to Dwarka, we have pan Delhi session work right from district court till Supreme Court. Somebody is going to Karkaduma, somebody is going to Dwarka, somebody is going to Tisazari. So we hand over that work to our associate. Please file it. And it is primarily the duty of the clerk. But if he is not available and there are a number of forums which is to be taken care of, so we take the help of the associates, but with a system and with a guided process. So they help us in filing that.
Got it. So with that, we close the session. Thank you so much, Kunal, for being there. Thank you everybody for viewing the session and participating. Please share your feedback. Don't share it privately. Share it with everybody. A couple of people have left me a message saying that this was very good, and they've had to leave. But everybody feel free to share this publicly so that Kunal has an opportunity to know about your experience directly from you. Okay, and I'll wait for about 30 seconds before I end the meeting so that you can all write your feedback.
So I really want to acknowledge you all. Thanks for listening to me for over an hour now. And I hope you must have got some valuable insights at how I work and how you can build your own law firm as well. And if you need any support, you can obviously contact LawSikho team, and they would be able to help you out.
So if you want to drop any hint or think about a next session, Kunal, you can let them know. Some of them have asked that let's have a next session on something. So you can think of a topic, okay,
So
that you want to do in this regard.
I just had one webinar on how to be fearless in court and
Okay.
how to face different kind of judges with different kind of mindsets. So I just had a
Yeah, let's
webinar.
do that one.
So yes, we can conduct this in association with LawSikho as well.
All right. Thank you, Kunal. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was
Yeah.
really pleasure to have you as an audience, and I look forward to have more sessions with you all. Thank you so much.
Same here. We'll invite you again, and we'll have another session. Okay. Cheers, everybody. Have a great week ahead. Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.